Hi everybody, I'm Etienne and welcome to another video. I expect last video was easy to understand the linguistic levels, mainly morphology, also its related topics. So now, we are going to see a new topic that is the syntaxis analysis. If you remember my illustrative drawing in the last video, syntaxis is a linguistic level after morphology. Meanwhile, morphology studies the internal structure of a word, syntaxis level studies the order and relation between words, and at the same time its functions. Before to start, we have to know some general concepts to understand correctly the analysis we will do in a couple of minutes. We have to know what is a noun, a determiner, a verb, an adjective, an adverb, and a preposition. Those meanings are known as lexical categories. First of all, we have nouns that are divided in people, like me, Etienne, things like table, and animals like cat. The next one is determiners that determine something about a noun. They are divided in articles, possessives, demonstratives, numerals, ordinals, and quantifiers. Next one is verbs that represent actions. They could be physical actions like dance or clean, and also as abstract actions like think or believe. Then we have adjectives that describe the noun. The adjectives are divided in attributive, one example could be the blue sky, and predicate adjective, an example could be the sky is blue. Then we have adverbs which describe the action or the verb of the verb. And they are divided on frequency, manner, time, degree, evaluation, and conjunctive adverbs. And finally, we have the preposition that joins phrases between them. They are divided on time, as at or upon, and for place, could be up or ontho, for give a few examples. After show you that information, we're gonna start with a subtopic that is the constituents. And you could be wondering, what are constituents, Etienne? Well, constituents basically are the components of a sentence. Yes, let me show you what components make up a sentence. There are three basic parts in a sentence. They are noun phrase, verb phrase, and preposition phrase. Now we have to know that a noun phrase consists in a determiner, an adjective, and obviously a noun. An example could be the tiny guy. Then we have verb phrase that consists in a verb, an adverb, and a noun phrase. Example could be the tiny guy plays soccer perfectly. And finally, we have the preposition phrase that consists of a preposition and a noun phrase only. Example could be in the street. So imagine a simple word as elementary school. Maybe Peter eats pizza. So now we have to identify the mainly two parts in this sentence, okay? Go ahead. Well, if you can see, we have two branches, the noun phrase and verb phrase. In the noun phrase only we have the word Peter. And second branch we have the verb and other noun phrase. The verb phrase is compounded by the verb eats, and the noun phrase have the noun pizza. Easy, isn't it? Before to start, we have to know how to do a tree diagram. Yeah, we have to start with the left to right to analyze every part of the sentence. It's pretty easy. I'm going to show you more examples and more difficult to understand correctly this topic, yeah? Don't worry. Well, after this, I'm going to tell you some more examples to be more clear this topic. Well, the next sentence is the green bike sometimes runs in the highway. I've give you some seconds, sorry, to write it and try to analyze. Ready? Well, as the last example, we have two branches, or mainly branches. We have noun phrase and verb phrase. Start with noun phrase. The first one is determiner, and the classification of this is our article, abbreviated as ART, and then we put the determiner. In this case is the. The next one is the adjective. In this case is green. And finally we have the noun, and in this case is bike. Then with the other part we have the verb phrase. Let's start with adverb, that is sometimes. The second one is runs. And then we have another branch that represents a preposition phrase. In this case we have a preposition that is in, and the other part in the right place, we have another branch that is noun phrase, and in this case we have another determiner and is an article, is the, and finally we have other noun that is highway. Easy. Well, let's see another sentence. We have the tasty Chinese food is extremely cheap. Well, the first is the noun phrase that specifies the part the tasty Chinese food, and we have the verb phrase that is extremely cheap. Let's gonna start, okay? Well, in noun phrase we have a determiner is an article and is the. Then we have an adjective that is tasty. Then we have another adjective that is Chinese. And finally we have the noun that is food. Meanwhile, in the other part, in the verb phrase, we have first of all our verb that is. Then we have the adverb that is extremely. And finally we have another branch that represents a noun phrase. In this case have an adjective, and the adjective is cheap. Pretty easy. Well, we have the last example. Let's try it, okay? Well, the sentence says, the faithful knight fights bravely. We're gonna start to classify the parts of the sentence. First of all, we have the faithful knight. That part is the noun phrase. Then we have the verb phrase, that is fights bravely. Let's gonna start with the noun phrase, okay? Well, first of all we have a determiner that is an article, and that article is the. Then we have an adjective that is faithful, and finally we have the noun that is knight. Then in the verb phrase we have the verb that is fights and an adverb that is bravely. It's correct, everything. Well, before to finish this video, I'm going to tell you some important, okay? We're gonna do a tree diagram about morphology, okay? With a word, to try to understand clearly both topics, okay? Well, first of all we have the word postmodernist. In this case we're gonna search and find out the free morph. In this case the free morph is modern, okay? And this word have one prefix and two suffixes. It's clear. Well, we have the class word. The word class, is of modern is an adjective. If we add the the suffix ist, we refers also an adjective. Then when we put the suffix s, we create a plural noun. But in this case, this adjective it's became a same adjective. And finally we have a prefix that don't change the word class of the word. And finally we have an adjective that is postmodernist. It's clearly, isn't it? Well, that's everything for this video. I expect it was good for you. Thanks for watching.